Good day, this is Teacher Rowan. I'll be your guide in exploring Google Apps for education, for teaching and learning. In Google for Education, teachers can connect and collaborate easily while staying on task. It gives teachers the freedom to spend more time personalizing the learning experience and less time managing it. Students can learn essential skills such as 21st century problem solving, which they can use it in their future careers. As such, the accessibility features will also help and assist every learner to do their best work. Google offers different useful applications that we can use to connect education to technology. This will help our teachers as a 21st century educators to innovate and find ways on how to make teaching and learning more exciting, engaging, effective, and flexible to the demands of the society. Let's re-explore the education experience by discovering new angles to create, collaborate, and communicate as one. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Ang pagkatuto, huwag gawing komplikado. Sulong edukalidad.
Magandang araw mga kaitulay, ako ang inyong tutor Madge. Handa na ba kayo sa kapanapanabik at kabang-abang na ETUlay Summer Camp? Tara na at umpisahan na natin!
Mga guro at magulang, ating pagtulungan, kabataan ay turuan natin. Kahit na nasa tahanan, pag-aaral ay tutukan, oras at kasanayan ay ilaan. Sulong edukalidad, magbago man ang panahon, ipagpatuloy ating layunin, patatagin ang edukasyon. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan nilalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. Kayo ba'y may katanungan at hindi maunawaan? Kami ang gabay at tulay na magtuturo sa'yo. Sa tulong ng teknolohiya at maging ng social media, paaralan ay kusang lalapit sa'yo.
Lalayo sa'yo.
Tulong edukalidad, maling impormasyon, katotohanan nating ituro, paunlarin ang edukasyon. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan nilalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan di lalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang
ETUlay Summer Camp!
ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang Pilipino.
Hello, children.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's
Hi.
a great morning. It's a happy Tuesday for today. Oh,
Yes,
wow,
and
we're
I
here.
see on the comment that Erin said that she heard someone singing.
is
Maybe it was
singing.
me. Maybe it was me because before we go on live, I always sing along with our ETUlay theme song. because it boosts my mood. Okay. How are
Yeah.
you today, Turnova?
I'm doing just great. Especially because the weather is also fine today and it makes me feel
Mm.
relaxed when I woke up in the morning. So far I'm doing really fine, Mame. And I had a great weekend too. I was able to
Yep.
spend time with family and friends. How about you, Tutor May?
Yeah, because last week, our last week session, it was raining, so it is refreshing that this week is all sunny. And back to your question, I'm fine. I'm
Oh,
energized by the theme song. It's a good starter that we listen to a song because, as we know, Trinova, songs always help to boost our mood. Okay, so I think to also boost our session, we'd like to greet those who are on our comments section. Hello, Joshua Pasion. Hello, Virginia Bustillo Villordan. Hello, Pearl Jazz Estudillo. Marites Subiaga Solante. Betchal. It's kind of hard to pronounce, but I'll
yeah,
do
you
my
can do
best.
it.
Betchal. Cheslav Pontilla. Sorry if I murder your name. And Naj Erica Galang, Erin Miranda, someone from SDO Angeles City, Maria Fe Cajegas, Princess Jamela Niega, Mark Platon, Sharon Santiago, Samantha Blasi. Go on, Nova.
And we also have Reimer B. Fate, Sheila Fernandez. They're watching all the way from Sheila Mesa Manapla High School. And we also got here, they're actually senior high school students. And we also have Pearl Jazz
Hello.
Estudillo. And I've watched Pearl Jazz Estudillo's video assignment and I was really impressed.
Yeah,
And I
because
think
she
we
was
will
my
be
student.
revealing. Oh, okay. Wow. Like teacher, like student.
She was my student when I think 2 years ago, and she is now in grade 9. Wow, time flies so fast, and that makes me
Wow.
feel old.
She's learning a lot from you, Mami.
Yes, we also have Sheila Fernandez, Aya Ranara, Alcris Javier Adriano, Lexi Plaza Gonzaga, Heavenly Heart. What a name, Heavenly Heart. Yu Tang Hian from STO Davao City, Precious Dumaan, Maria Teresa Santos Betino. I think this is the mother of Olive Zoe, Heart
Yeah.
Eduarte, Drydel Rubio, Eden Fomaran, Jesty Ig. Wait, I didn't catch that. Sorry. I think it's because the comments are moving so fast.
It
Iros,
is.
Marcella VN from Camarines Sur, Chloe Miley, Norilyn, and that's it. I think I'm done.
Oh, wow. Thank you for being with us. And of course, they can interact anytime and make the class engaging as possible by leaving a comment on the comment section, especially when they wanted to participate. Since we are now on
Yes.
the week number 5 and the summer camp is almost over, so we wanted to
Mhm.
recognize everyone in the class.
Yes, and we appreciate those students, those audience who started tuning in our first episode and now still tuning in our fifth episode. We really heart you, our dear learners. Keep your comments on the comment section because we will be checking the comment section from time to time. And because it's August Supernova, for everybody's information, August is the ASEAN month 2021. And I think that's the reason why we're wearing color green, right,
Yeah,
Renova?
we're
What does
actually
color
color
green?
green. I think
What does
color
color
green,
green symbolize?
for me, but well, color green is actually my favorite, and at the same time, I think it's prosperity and creativity for me. But I'm not really
Yeah.
sure what color green is as a whole, but for me, that's how I describe it.
Yes, and you're quite close to the truth because green, according to what I searched on the internet, symbolizes growth, harmony, and hope. And definitely, our growth as a country is not relying or it's not dependent on how we perform as a country, but also how our region performs because ASEAN means Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So our growth also depends on our neighboring country. How about our audience? What's your favorite color? Okay, so we will be checking on the comment section and we might highlight or feature your comment. Just tell us what's your favorite color. According to Iris, happy ASEAN month to all. Also, aside from ASEAN month, we also celebrating the Buwan ng
Buwan
Wika,
ng Wika. It's
right?
according to
Yes.
Joshua Passion. Hi, thank you
Mm-hmm.
for reminding us. Yeah.
Yes, and aside from Joshua, it was also said by Rhymer B. Faith. According to Joshua, his favorite color is blue. To Olive Zoe, pink. Okay, my favorite color is
Purple,
yellow.
BTS.
Yeah, I heart you, Bora. How about you, Nova? What's your favorite color? If mine is yellow, what's your favorite color?
Mine is green. It's the color what
Ah,
I'm wearing right
yeah. I
now.
wasn't really listening. Sorry for that. Yeah. It I
Well,
got lost with
yeah,
your information. Your favorite color
it's okay
is
because
green.
our topic today has something to do about transmitting information to, to have
Mm-hmm.
a clear
Very
message of
nice.
understanding.
Yeah. And aside from that, Nova, our favorite color transmits a message. It could be
Yeah.
it could be the kind of personality that we have. And
It could be the
aside from
mood that we are
mhm.
experiencing or
Yes,
the mood that we
that's
are
right.
feeling.
Hmm. And since we're talking about personality, we have couples of personalities here in our show, not just our special guest, but our camp stalwart. Okay, let's welcome our camp stalwart for the week. He is Tommy Salvador. Hi, Tommy.
Virtual clap for Tommy, everyone. I
Yay,
think you
virtual
can
club,
send
everyone.
a
Comment some
virtual clap on the
hearts.
comment section. Hi,
Okay,
Tommy.
comment. Yes. Boost the mood of Tommy and encourage him by commenting a heart on the comment section. Hi, Tommy. Are you ready?
Yes po.
Yes. Okay, go on.
Start na po ako, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Good day, Tutor Nova, Tutor May, and to our fellow campers. I am Tommy Salvador from Bitic Elementary School, Valenzuela City. I am the fourth camp stalwart, and I am ready to recap the lesson that we had last week. I know that you are eager to review what we did last time. Our topic was about determining the facets of public speaking. This topic certainly helped us in overcoming our fear in speaking publicly. I am in fact utilizing this lesson in my speech today. Organization was the word of the week. Organization is the act or process of speaking. Organization is the act or process of organizing or being organized. Our grammar focus was simple past tense. Simple past tense is used to indicate the actions we did in the past. This shows that one this shows that one is talking about something that already happened. After the word of the week and the grammar focus, we knew the things that we must know in speaking publicly. First, don't panic. You must accept that feeling nervous is normal. Anyone, even the greatest speaker in the world, feels nervous when giving a speech or speaking in front of an audience. Third, go with the first little idea that comes to our head. We want to talk about something big, but most of the time they do not come into our minds immediately. We can say the first idea that comes to our head so that we can build the momentum and shake the jitters away. The fourth point in speaking publicly is express an opinion right at the start. The audience want to know the purpose why they are listening right at the beginning. So when having a speech, we must make sure that our opinion or position is in the introduction of our speech. Fifth is the four basic speech patterns. The speech patterns are point, reason, example, point, story, message, gain, problem, cause, solution, and past, present, future. They help in providing structures and ideas so that they are organized and can be easily understood by our audience. Sixth, know when to stop. We must not ramble in the conclusion. What we can do to avoid this is to recap our opinion or position, briefly summarize our main points, and tell a lasting impression to our listeners. Seventh, draw on our own experiences. Sharing our experience that's related to the topic we are talking about adds a personal touch to our message. That's it for our fourth week. I hope I have helped you remember the lesson last Tuesday and have made you readier for our lesson for today. Again, this is Tommy Salvador, your fourth camp stalwart.
Hooray for Tommy.
Yay!
Hooray for Tommy,
Virtual clap
everyone.
for
Woo.
Tommy, and thank you everyone for sending your hearts to Tommy. Actually, Tommy, our co-learners, your fellow campers are cheering for you, rooting for you on the comments section. Congratulations, Tommy. And if I would evaluate your speech, I would say T. It's tactful because you really delivered what we had last week. It's outstanding for your age because we can hear the words clearly. It's masterful because from the start you delivered it well, and it's insightful because you made us more ready for the session today. But I would like to suggest that you can place your script on a place where you establish eye to eye contact with our viewers, because even though it's a virtual environment, we still have to establish that connection, that rapport with our audience. But so far, so good. Congratulations, Tommy. How about you,
Congratulations,
Nova?
Tommy. Well, that was indeed a comprehensive overview, Ma'am May. Well, I have to say, when Tommy started, he was really able to build the momentum. But I think on the middle part and until the end, I think he was feeling a little bit nervous because maybe he almost forgot what he's about to say or something like that. But he was able to recover, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
great thing about being a speaker, right? Sometimes things like that happen, but he was able to recover, and I'm just so proud of him.
Congratulations, Tommy. Way to go. But this one is a good practice and exposure for you. We'll have you later. Bye, Tommy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Tommy.
right,
Once
there
again,
we
thank you also
go.
to our fellow campers who are rooting, expressing their thankfulness and being grateful to Tommy for recapping our previous session. So again, we can progress in the other parts of our session for today. So last week, Nova. We asked our campers to deliver a speech using the speech patterns with 5 to 8 sentences. And the following are the speech patterns that they can observe in making their speeches. For our awardees, or for those campers who submitted their work, thank you so much. And viewed we viewed their
All their
speeches.
videos.
Yeah, all their videos. Now, we will send the evaluation and your certificate later on, because we kind of rushing because it's already 10:44, so we cannot really preview your videos. But for those who want to watch the videos of our camp sellers who submitted for a week for assignment, it's on our page. And now let me help me, Nova, to
Sure,
announce
yeah.
our
Hmm.
awardees. Okay, let's
This
start
is
first with
exciting. It's
our
our first ever
mhm.
award, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
here we
don't
go.
worry for those who will not get the gold awardee, because everyone has his or her own weakness and strength. So maybe we can reflect on the things that we can improve. And for those who would be getting the gold awardee, do not be self-satisfied, because there are still things you have to improve on. Let's start. Let's begin with the
All
gold
right.
awardee. Can you do the honor to announce them, Nova?
All right, so everyone, I know you're excited to hear this. Let's begin with our gold awardee. So our gold awardee is dun, 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 dun. Who do you think is our gold awardee? Wow. All right, so our gold awardees, we actually got two, but first, our first gold awardee goes to Jacheslav D. Fontilias.
Mhm. Next one we have.
Our next gold awardee is Saizi Salvador.
Yeah, very good. Now for our silver awardees, we have three. The first one is Erin Miranda. The second one is Alcris Javier Adriano and Princess Jamela Niega. Princess is
Such a
always
cute.
consistent. She always
She is.
submits per week, and though she's a very young student, she has a big potential in terms of her speaking. Now let's go to the bronze
Yes.
awardees, Tudor Nova.
Our bronze awardee is Inaj Erica Galang. What a unique name. Hi,
Yeah.
Inaj. Yeah, congratulations for your bronze. And our next bronze awardee is Pearl Jasmine Estudillo.
Okay, I think that's the last. Oh no, there's another one. Our camp stalwart for this week.
Our bronze awardee goes to our camp stalwart, Tommy Salvador. All right, there
Yeah,
we go.
congratulations everyone. And again, I'll be sending the evaluation so you would know why you are gold awardee, silver awardee, and bronze awardee. And also, I will follow this up with your certificate of recognition. Now, after announcing our awardees for this week, let us now go to our word of the week. And our word of the week, we actually mentioned it a while ago, Nova, and it's
Yes, we did.
transmit. Okay, it's transmit. It's a verb and it's an action word. What does transmit means? It means to transfer, pass, or spread from one person or place. An example of this word in use is an effective communication can effectively transmit a message. Now, for our fellow campers, you might or you may practice using the word transmit in our comment section and we will try our best to highlight your answers. Okay, again, it
Right.
means to transfer, pass, or spread from one person or place. Okay, now for our grammar focus, we have the past progressive tense and it means we use the past progressive tense when there is a continuing action. Always remember, if it's progressive, it's a continuing action, but it's different if it's uh, if it happens in the present or if it happens in the past. For this session, we are talking about a continuing action that is happening in the past. Now, how do we visualize that? Okay, so for past progressive tense, look at the diagram. We have their past, present, future, and again, it should be an action that happened in the past, but it should be an ongoing activity. How do we form the past progressive tense? We can have the subject, the helping verbs was and were. Because the was and were would be the helping verbs that we used for this tense. Then the verb in the ing. Now, for the negative statements example, she was not sleeping when he came home. Again, remember, when we are using the helping verb was, that means the subject is singular. But were, it means the subject is plural. Since she is a singular subject, we will say she was not or she was sleeping. But how about if it's plural? You will use they were not sleeping. They they were sleeping. And now for questions, we will have was she sleeping when he came home or were they sleeping when he came home? Now, uh, aside from that, we also have these examples. Mother was cooking dinner when father arrived. So you know in here in the sentence that this happened in the past and there's a specific action that occurred already. Father arrived. So, what was the ongoing activity when father arrived? Mother was cooking. So, we use the past progressive tense for the action of the mother. Now, for another example, even we have here last summer, and we know that the time marker is in the past. Now, what was the ongoing activity that happened already? We were studying public speaking last summer. So I hope our campers will take note of that because this will be our fourth grammar focus in our entire session.
All right, that was very clear. I think you were able to transmit the messages and the ideas today, Name. That was very clear and comprehensive as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we will find out if we have transmitted the message to our campers based on their sample sentences. We have here Judy C. Rocco, insects can transmit diseases, right? Mick Kitty,
Mm-hmm.
Mick J, parents transmit some of their characteristics to their children. We also have
Wow.
here Enoj, he transmits because he is singular, he transmits his message obscurely. All right. That's nice.
All right. Thank you so much for sending in your sample sentences. I think they were able to really comprehend and they were able to formulate perfectly structured sentences as well. All right. So
Mm.
this time, Ma'am May, let's move on to the next part of our program since we are done giving them about our word of the week and at the same time our grammar focus for today. All right. So this is our episode 5 and for today, we will be talking about the passage to the message, how verbal and nonverbal communication affect the clarity and understanding of a message. And of course, we have our special guest for today, and you will be meeting her later today. All right, this sounds
Yeah,
really exciting.
I'm so excited too, Chernova. Now I think we can begin with the discussion.
All right, let's do this. Okay, now you got there a picture, my dear attendees, and I want you to take a look at this picture. Spare a moment and try to really look at the details of this picture. What can you say about this picture? Um, what do you think is happening here? Why do you think there is six, and why do you think there is nine?
Yeah, let's see
Do you have any idea?
how let's see how the photo transmitted the message to our
True.
campers. Yeah, can you share your thoughts about the picture, campers?
Yeah, maybe they're still processing it. But maybe they're
Yeah,
wondering why is it the other one is saying six and the other one is saying nine?
yeah,
Okay, we got
because
here
mhm,
Inaj. Inaj
mm,
Mame is saying that some things differ depending on one's perception.
yes,
Okay.
and according to Pearl, just she said what people see are based on their perspective. That's
All right.
right.
And of course, we have Alker says it's misunderstanding. And Mick Kitty is saying that they view the number in different way. Okay, now let's find out. Let's find out. Can you do the next slide, Mame?
Sure.
All right, there. Okay, so just because you're right doesn't mean I'm wrong. You just haven't seen life from my side. Okay, because as we can see on the picture, they view the number differently, right? And that means to say that it does not mean to say that the other one is wrong, and it does not mean to say that the other one is also wrong. That only means to say that we view it differently. And somehow, when we view things differently and we don't communicate and we don't listen to the other person's, his explanation, somehow it creates misunderstanding and we cannot
Right.
transmit the message clearly now. So that is the reason. Now, the other question that we have here is why do you think we do not always communicate effectively?
And
Now,
that's a
this
good
is our key
question.
question for today. Why do you
hmm
think we don't communicate effectively?
Yeah, because
Somehow when, yes, Mame, go on.
like the picture, we can have the same message, and it will transmit the same, but it will be different on how we perceive the message. So
True.
it's a good question to ask to our fellow campers and to raise on our presentation right now. Why do you think we don't always communicate effectively? Let's see.
Yeah, of course. Because somehow, right? When you wanted to really say that you are right, and the other one is saying you're wrong, but you don't really want to, admit that the other one is right because you are saying that you're right and that she or he is wrong. Okay, so Chloe here is saying both of them were correct. That's right, Chloe. Now, the question here is why do you think we don't always communicate effectively? Now,
Chino
Chino
has,
here, Mame,
yeah,
yeah, he says, because we don't listen effectively too. Wow, that's a
that's
bingo. That's a
right.
great point. And Mark also here says, because we are afraid to be criticized by others. That's good too.
Yeah.
All right, so can you do the next slide, Mame?
Oh, aside from that, I think Erin Miranda said that maybe because of the tone of our voice. That's also a good point. Why we misunderstood someone else's message. And according to Iris, because we have different views or opinions in every situation. That's right. May proceed
Wow,
now,
our
Trinova.
campers are definitely processing everything really well. Now we got here a person. He is walking and he's wearing a suit, and he's also bringing a laptop case, or maybe that's a case, or a bag, perhaps a handbag. Now his name is Jack. Jack believes he gets along great with his colleagues at work, but if you were to ask any of them, they would say that Jack is intimidating and very intense. Rather than just look at you, he seems to devour you with his eyes. Ooh, what's the matter with Jack's eyes? And if he takes your hand, he lunges to get it and then squeezes it so hard that it hurts. Jack is a caring guy who secretly wishes he had more friends. But his nonverbal awkwardness, which is staring people and, lunging at people and squeezing their hands so hard,
Mhm.
keeps people at a distance and limits his ability to advance at work.
Oh, that's
Okay.
quite sad.
Yeah, so earlier we were talking about not communicating effectively. Now, this one, Jack, here is, having some awkwardness, and people also do not understand or, um, views him the other way around. So that's
Yeah.
it. We
And
met Jack today.
we can also see from his situation that even though we can communicate effectively, clearly,
Yeah,
but our actions don't actually equate to the message we would want to send, that is also a point that makes the difference. And it's a reminder for us to always check on our verbal communication, verbal message, and non-verbal
hmm,
messages, because the non-verbal messages also contribute to how we transmit messages to our listeners or to our audience.
all right, there we go. So we met Jack today, and at the same time, earlier we also talked about communicating effectively. And therefore, my dear campers, our lesson for today has something to do about verbal and nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication refers to how Jack's scenario is, or what Jack's scenario is. So that is why nonverbal communication, this refers to the transfer of information through the use of body language, including eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, and more. Right? So somehow when we do this, it makes the difference, right? Somehow people know, or they will think that you're confident. But if you will be like doing this eye contact and something like that, you might be nervous or not really sure about what you're saying. So nonverbal
Yeah.
communication, that's it. And how does nonverbal and verbal communication affect the clarity of understanding a message? That is what we are going to find out today. So we have our guest speaker for today. We have our DepEd TV teacher broadcaster from SDO Paranaque, and at the same time, she is also an English teacher and school paper advisor from Paranaque Science High School. My dear campers, please help me in welcoming Ma'am Maria Irene E. Inventor. A round of applause.
Welcome, Ma'am Irene Inventor. Hi.
All right, there we go. Oh, I think that her microphone is still on mute.
Right.
Yes.
Hi, good morning. I'm so sorry I did not see it. Good morning to my ever beautiful sisters, Tutor May and Tutor Nova. And of course, a vibrant Tuesday morning to all our campers. So, good morning. And I'm very glad and
Thank you
happy to
so
be
much.
here this morning.
We are so excited, Ma'am Irene, because we're just so happy that we have you in our public speaking ESL class for today. And of course, she's also our co-teacher broadcaster, Ma'am May. So it's thank you
Yeah.
for giving the time despite the busy schedule that you have, Ma'am Irene.
Yeah,
Of course, I'm
and it
very
seems
much
like
honored.
Come on,
Yes,
man. And
yes,
it seems
Tutor
like
May.
we have a reunion here of English teacher
Yes.
broadcasters.
Indeed, it is a reunion.
Go on, Mama Irene.
And 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 with a special participation of our headphones.
That's
Right, right.
right.
Yes.
Okay. So, my dear campers, Ma'am Irene, our guest speaker, will be telling us more about how should we or how should nonverbal and verbal communication, how does it affect the clarity in the understanding of the message? Ma'am Irene, take it away.
Thank you, Teacher Nova and Tutor May. So again, a pleasant Tuesday morning to all our campers. First of all, may I just express how delighted I am for the excellent campers that we have here in the ESL and Public Speaking camp. I can see really how active our campers are. And of course, that is because of our very active tutors as well. So now to our dear campers, my talk this morning will revolve on the idea of how verbal and nonverbal communication affect the clarity and understanding of a message. Let's first have a quick recap. I know Tutor May and Tutor Nova already discussed this a while ago, but let's just have a very quick recap. So, verbal communication refers to the use of words to convey a message. So, basically, my dear campers, this pertains to communication situations where people speak and converse in or to one another. For example, your daily conversations to your parents or say to your siblings and even to your friends, right? Or when you speak in class, or even this very moment that I'm talking to you is also an example of verbal communication. On the other hand, when we say non-verbal communication, this refers to a collaboration of gestures, expressions, and movements, right? And also including your facial expressions, your hand gestures, your body language, and even your posture and the tone of your voice, right? And even your appearance. They are all part of nonverbal communication. So our question is, or our question for this morning, how do these verbal and nonverbal communication affect the clarity and understanding of the message? Well, you see, my dear campers, every time that we communicate, our end goal is for our listener or our audience to understand our message or what we're trying to say, either verbally or non verbally. For example, my dear campers, you want your mom to cook sinigang for dinner. What will you do? Sige nga, you may type your answer in the chat box. You
Yeah, I
want your
think they
mom
are typing now.
Yes, you
Okay.
want your mom to cook sinigang for dinner. What will you do? Okay. Um, Teacher Novak, if they have some answers, can you please
Oh yeah, sure.
flash it
I
on the screen?
will.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Again, my question, my dear campers, you want your mom to cook sinigang for dinner. What will you do?
We have here Inaj, Mom Irene. Inaj says here, request for it sweetly.
All right. That's a very nice answer. I like the adverb sweetly, right? So aside
Yeah.
from just plainly requesting, of course, because you want your mom to cook the sinigang for you, you will ask or request it sweetly. So of course, thank you, my dear, for your answer. Of course, you will go directly to your mom, request directly, and tell her if she could cook sinigang as viand for dinner. Okay?
Mhm.
As directly as that. So your mom will know that you want sinigang for dinner. Okay? You went to her and spoke to her directly and she knew that you want sinigang. The same thing when you play charades. Have you played charades class? Or dear campers, have you tried playing charades?
I think they're familiar with that,
Yes, right.
Irene.
It's a very famous game, right? Even at school or at home or with
Hmm.
friends, we play charades, and now we have mobile applications playing charades. Though you're not allowed to speak when you're playing charades, you make movements, right, or
Hmm.
even hand gestures, and use signals that are relevant or connected to the idea so that your audience could guess it correctly, right?
Hmm.
So your end goal when we're playing charades is for your audience to know what you're trying to show. That class is the end goal of communication, either verbally or non-verbally. You want your audience to know your message and you want to transmit your message correctly to your audience. However, my dear campers, there are also instances wherein either your verbal or nonverbal communication affects the clarity of your message. When we say
Hmm.
clarity, my dear campers, it is the characteristic of effectively and clearly communicating your intended message to the receiver. For example, my dear campers, when I want to tell you that I'm glad to see you all, Miss Irene or Teacher Irene would say, I'm very much happy to see you all, campers. But what will happen if I say the same thing that I said this way? Okay? I want you to type in your answer. I'm very much happy to see all of you, campers. I'm really, really happy to see all of you today. So, what happens now?
All right.
What
Let's hear it
happens
on the
now,
comment
right?
section.
Okay, I want to tell you that I'm glad to see you all, but I say it this way. I'm very much happy to see all of you, my dear campers.
So,
Oh,
Ma'am
mhm.
Irene, Pearl Jazz here says that it seems sarcastic, while Inaj here says the first one is more convincing, and
Mhm.
Chino here says it does not sound sincere or true or does not match
All
the emotion
right.
to the line.
Very good, dear campers, and thank you again, Teacher Nova. I agree with you all because the words that I used and the tone of my voice, okay, contradict each other. So this contradiction, you may call it sarcasm or insincerity, these affected the clarity of my message. I want to say I'm glad to be here, but the way I delivered my message is not really glad at all, right?
Mhm.
So therefore, the question, am I really happy to see you or not? So that's another thing for you to remember when we say
Mhm.
there's contradiction. Another example, dear campers, would be when the teacher asks you if you can extend another 5 minutes for your training, or let's say here in our tutorial, online tutorial, if teacher May and teacher Nova request to extend another 5 minutes for this tutorial, and you said yes, now during that extension period, you keep on looking at your wristwatch and sighed a
Mhm.
couple of times, right? But you said yes. Yes, teacher Nova, teacher May, we will extend. But you keep on looking at your wristwatch and okay, the actions that you've shown are actually the opposite of what you said, right? You said yes, but your actions show the opposite. So it's like the old saying, my dear campers, your lips say yes, but your eyes say no.
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 Okay, right? This reminds us and you, dear campers, that whether you're aware of it or not, when you interact with others, you are actually continuously giving and receiving wordless signals, right? And your nonverbal cues, like for example, your gestures, your posture, your tone of voice, your facial expressions, they all send strong messages. So while most of the time we consider that the key to success in communication lies in your ability to speak your thoughts well, having correct grammar and all, the truth is it's not only the words that you use, but your nonverbal cues or your body language that speak clearly. And so, here are some things that you need to consider and remember in achieving clear and effective communication. All right, so the first one, use suitable language that is appropriate to the context of the situation you are in. So, for example, is it a formal or an informal communication situation? Let's say you're talking or you will deliver a speech in front of your class, or you will deliver a speech online, okay, virtually, still in front of your class and your teacher. What language will you use? Will you use formal or informal? Okay, let's see your answers.
Yeah, I
You are
think they're
tasked to
still
deliver
thinking. Wow.
you are
They're
tasked
still
to deliver
processing.
a speech in front of your class virtually. What language will you use? Will you use formal or informal?
We have an
Okay,
answer here.
yeah, Ma'am Irene, Mick Kitty here says formal.
All right. Thank you very much, Mikiti. And Naj, also thank you for saying formal. Yes, I think Teacher May and Teacher Nova will also agree that you must use the formal language. And when we say formal, these are, or this is a language following grammatical rules and also conventions in grammar, or specifically in English language, because what we're doing is under the English language. How about, let's say you will just talk to your sibling, right? You're playing games or you're playing Lego or Uno for that matter, the famous games right now, Uno cards. What kind of language will you use? Will you use formal or informal language?
Let's see,
All
according
right.
to Enoj, she will use informal language. Same with Chino Jaime Samonte.
All right, thank you very much, Teacher Me, and for our campers who answered. Well, definitely, you may want to use the informal language, but dear campers, always remember when we say informal, it doesn't mean you will use rude words, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we say informal,
Correct.
it means it's just casual conversation, okay? But it doesn't mean you need to say rude words or words that are not really good to hear or listen to. Okay, remember that. So when we say informal, you may just say casual language or casual
Mhm.
conversation. So you're all correct. You may just use casual conversation or the casual tone language when you communicate with your siblings, right? So that's the first reminder. Use
Mhm.
suitable language because it's actually a key for you to transmit correctly your message to your audience. Another reminder for you is to use simple and precise words. Okay, if you want your audience to understand what you're trying to say or your message, you may want to use simple words and precise words. Okay, unless you're talking to, let's say, a group of professionals, right? You may use their language or what we call jargons, right? The language spoken by a group of people. Okay, but for the sake of expressing and transmitting message easily, you may just use simple and precise words. And the next one is use the proper tone of voice, right? So, our example a while ago, when you want to say you're happy to see that person, of course, you will use the tone of being happy or being joyful. If you want to express that you're sad, of course, you will express your sadness through the tone of your voice and not say a happy, let's say you want to say, I'm sorry for your loss, but you say it, I'm sorry for your loss. It's not actually sincere and it's the opposite.
Mhm.
So use the proper tone of voice. My third reminder for you, my dear campers, is to choose your words carefully so as not to offend or discriminate anyone. It's actually, well, the reminders is actually interrelated with one another, right?
Mhm.
So always take note of your listeners' background or beliefs. Say for example, your listener or your audience's age, their gender, their social
Mhm.
status. For example, you're talking to a person older than you. Of
Mhm.
course, there must be a tone of respect and um, a bit of formality for that sake.
Mhm.
But let's say, for example, you're talking to the president. Of course, you cannot use words that are
Mhm.
really informal at all. So you have to be
Mhm.
careful when choosing your words. And also, you may consider the gender of your
Mhm.
listener, right? The social status, and most importantly, the beliefs of your
Mhm.
listeners so you can adjust and avoid unintentional miscommunication. Let's say, for example, my dear campers, again, every time you're asked to speak in class or during class recitation, of course, you should also consider the context of what you're talking about so as to choose the best words for your speech.
Mhm.
Okay, the next reminder would be to create eye contact, which is one of the most important nonverbal cues to keep your audience engaged and makes you believable. Okay? So when you talk, there must be an established eye contact. Okay?
Mhm.
And last reminder would be another one is to use appropriate or suitable or proper gestures, facial expressions, movements, right? Remember, my dear campers, that your listener or audience sees your face first before they are going to hear your voice. And
Mhm.
thus, you have the opportunity to set an emotional tone before you even start speaking. So
Mhm.
just like what ma'am May a while ago said to us or shared to us, even the color of the dress or clothes that we are wearing actually express your attitude or your mood or your behavior for the day. So even the appearance actually affects your message. So if you want to show that you're sad or let's say you're grieving, another nonverbal cue is your appearance. So you may want
Mm-hmm.
to wear not so bright colored clothes. Okay, so that also is part of appearance. Now, my dear campers, when your nonverbal cues match up with the words you're trying to say or you're saying, they increase trust, clarity, and rapport. And when they don't, they can generate tension or mistrust and even confusion. Now, if you want to become a better communicator, it's important to become more sensitive not only to the body language and nonverbal cues of others, but also to your own. In
Mm-hmm.
conclusion, my dear campers, always remember that confusion and misunderstanding and miscommunication, they happen when the spoken word is contradicted by our nonverbal cues or body language. Thus, remember that communication has a better chance of success when nonverbal cues and verbal messages work together in harmony. So, again, thank you very much, dear campers, and a very blessed Tuesday morning to all.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Irene. By the way, Ma'am
Thank
Irene is a
you.
teacher broadcaster for oral communication in
Yeah.
context.
And that's her forte. That's why she was able to give us key messages and the key importance of of nonverbal communication to verbal communication. Thank you so much, teacher Irene, for gracing your presence in
Thank
our show
you.
today. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Thank
Again,
you,
thank
Ma'am
you so much,
Irene.
Teacher May and Teacher Nova, and I'm really happy to be here. And I hope to see you again, my dearest sisters, soon.
Thank
Yeah,
you
Okay,
so
see you,
thank
much.
ma'am.
you.
See you.
Thank you.
All right.
All
And
right,
I
there we go.
Yes, I think our fellow campers or our campers learned so much today. I would like to request our campers to make a simple message, just a summary of what you learned today, so that we can know that you learned from the speech or from the part of Mom Irene. But for me, I like the way that she emphasized that when we communicate, it's also important to think about other matters, not just the content but the action, the tone of the voice, and we also have to be considerate with the beliefs, with the age, and with the status of the people whom we are talking to. How about you, Nova? What are your your takeaways from Miss Irene's part?
For me, my takeaway is that nonverbal and verbal communication is like a partnership. So
Mm-hmm,
when the other
true.
one does not go right, the other one will also, not go right as well because they should go together. It's like, as they say, it's like, dancing a ballroom dance. So if your feet, the other one is not dancing to the beat. So
Mm-hmm,
of course, it's like you're not going to have the dance together. It's like it
that's
takes
right.
two to tango. So that's why you really need the two of them to work in harmony. So I
I
have to
agree
say
with
that
you.
Ma'am Irene definitely, transmitted the message to our dear campers really
Yes.
clearly. And I have to say that even I, have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
inputs today from Ma'am Irene Inventor.
Yes. And I believe from the part of teacher Irene, our campers can make better speeches in the future. And speaking of future speeches, we would like to announce our assignment for this week. Take it away,
All
Trinova.
right. Okay. Can you do the other slide, Ma'am May?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. So, because you now know the difference between verbal and nonverbal communication, this is your week 5 assignment. And since during the week 4 you were able to videograph yourself and present your assignments using video and then posted it on our public speaking ETUlay Facebook page, here is your week 5 assignment. For verbal communication, create a dialogue that shows how it affects the clarity of a message and then present it on a video. You can have the dialogue with a guest, either your friend, sibling, or anyone you like to do the short dialogue with. So say for
Wow, that's so
example, if
creative.
it's verbal communication, they can create a dialogue first and maybe ask
Mm-hmm.
their mom. It's also part of the verbal and nonverbal communication thing, like asking
Yeah.
them sweetly, as one of our campers said. That if you wanted to request for something, ask it sweetly. So we will
Yes, and
test. Mm,
and there are comments also that when they will be requesting their mom to cook sinigang, they can give their mother a back hug. That's so sweet. Or maybe request politely by like having an eye to eye contact and staring at your mom sweetly. Those are good indicators of nonverbal communication too from our campers, Renova.
That's right. And of course, for nonverbal communication, if they wanted to opt for or choose for the nonverbal communication instead, they can create a scene that shows how it affects the clarity of a message. So, same with the verbal communication, they need to present it on a video and ask someone to do the scenario with them,
Yes.
showcasing nonverbal communication. And that's it. That's your assignment for week 5. Okay?
We will be looking forward to your submissions, our campers. And from Pearl Just Estudillo, her takeaway is it will really help me communicate with others since I learned that we must match our message and actions and avoid contradiction. That's a good takeaway. Also from Mom Rose, she said that please invite as many teachers as you can here. Yes, thank you for the suggestion, Mom Rose, because yeah, we will be inviting more guests so that we can learn much better. And because the week 5 assignment was already announced, I would just like to remind everybody to post their work where, Trinova?
On our public speaking ETUlay Summer Camp group page. So they can also invite other people to like our page as well for them to keep posted about the updates, and at the same time for them to have clues about who our next guest speakers are and what topic should we be having next week and stuff like that.
Yes. We will also post your assignment so you are reminded and our quiz for this week. Okay, this will be the QR code and the link to the quiz. But again, we will be posting this in our group if ever you will not be able to screenshot this session.
All right, there we go. I think our dear campers are now guided. So I think that our time is definitely over, Mame, but we've extended. Hi, Sir Madge.
And Ma'am Joy. Hi, Ma'am Joy.
Hi, Ma'am Joy. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for putting up with us, though we extended. But I know our campers learned so much today, especially with making sure that communication, it's not just about content, but also how you will say it so that they can transmit the message clearly. And this has been Tudor May.
And this is Shooter Nova. So catch us again next Tuesday.
Bye. See you again,
Bye.
campers. Bye.
I think.
Good day, everyone. I am Sir Robbie, and together, we will learn the word of the future, robotics. Did you know that here in Educational Technology Unit, robotics is a priority to make every Filipino learners and teachers competent and meet the demands of the future global scene? Wherein teachers, students, and parents who wanted to learn robotics is just a click away for free. Robotics is an interdisciplinary field which integrates computer science and engineering. It involves design, construction, operation, and use of robots to assist human activities. Are you ready for this transformation? Soon in ICTS Educational Technology Unit. Come and join us and love the future para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong edukalidad.